Can you improve your English on your own? I believe you can. At least that's what I'm currently doing about my Spanish, following the same strategies I'm about to share with you. Why should I listen to you, you may ask? Well, before starting to teach English, I learned it first. It means that I have gone through everything you're struggling with. The obvious difficulties are lack of grammar understanding, tones of words that seem physically impossible to squeeze into your head, lack of speaking practice on a daily basis. If the latter isn't an issue for you and your environment is English speaking, you are in a far better situation than I was during my learning time. Then there are the not so obvious challenges. The lack of confidence, fears of making mistakes and being laughed at, and the constant feeling that whatever you do is just not right and not enough. If anything I have mentioned sounds like a sore point to you, stay with me to learn the ways how to overcome those difficulties and make English your effective communication tool. Whatever you're stuck at, it's important to set clear goals to move on. FYI, the goal "I want to improve my English" isn't really effective. I believe you all know this SMART goal-setting technique. I spoke more on this topic in one of my previous videos. I will link it in the description box, and I highly recommend you watch it if the process of goal setting seems too complicated and even dreadful to you. So, a quick recap of the video on setting goals, just to put you in the picture. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant or realistic, and time-bound. Perfect for those who are 100% mindful people and can control every aspect of their life. Perfect for those whose goals of learning English can actually be measured. For example, passing an international language test. There are specific requirements and progress indicators that can be measured. However, in the video, I suggested reconsidering this approach. First of all, each person's goals differ a lot. They need English to communicate freely in spoken and written language, to relocate, to find new jobs, to feel confident, to widen their horizons. Secondly, many people lack the ability of setting adequate and not overly ambitious goals. As a result, they get discouraged if they don't meet those goals. So eventually they end up quitting whatever they were planning. And lastly, language proficiency is much more than just ticking off items on the checklist. It's about effective communication and comprehension. So, long story short, if you want to make English your life-changing tool, you need to consider making English the part of your life. And for that, I still recommend you to watch the video. My personal example of adapting SMART technique into my reality is to learn Spanish at least 20 minutes every day. I give myself the freedom to choose the activity I feel like engaging in. But my goal is to make learning Spanish my daily activity. How will I do this? I will share with you later in this video. The next step can actually be a part of your SMART learning goals. Create your study routine. When it comes to building a habit, consistency is the key. And if you ask me, learning English must indeed become a habit if you want to see real progress and avoid the temptation to quit. As strange as it may sound, I don't believe in relying on motivation alone, at least not in learning languages, and not for the long term. Learning English takes time, a lot of time. Whatever motivated you to start improving your English, can it keep you motivated long enough? You need motivation to kickstart the learning process, to spark the desire to learn, but then discipline and consistency are more reliable tools to keep you going. So, set aside dedicated time for studying. As little as 30 minutes every day will make a noticeable difference in the long run. Allocate that time, make a cup of coffee or tea, take your favorite notebook that you have bought exactly for this purpose. I'm sure you have one, I most certainly do. And get down to whatever activity you feel like doing. Not sure what activities can improve your level and be interesting at the same time? Well, let me show you. With the modern variety of resources, both learning and entertaining, you won't have any trouble finding ones to your liking. If you're fond of cinematic art, there are films, series, cartoons, documentaries, that you can watch in English to practice your listening skills and expand your vocabulary with interesting idioms, collocations, and even grammatical constructions. Here are some useful free resources to watch films in English with or without subtitles. I will link them below in the description box. None of them are sponsored, they are just my personal choices. If short videos are more your style, YouTube is definitely your platform. Don't know what to watch? Just go for whatever you would watch in your native language. I bet you have a list of interesting topics or channels. Look for their alternatives in English or see if there are multilingual soundtracks. Many bloggers nowadays offer this option. For something more educational, why not try this resource? Let me show you. The website offers you quite a choice of languages. We are interested in English. As you may see, you can practice whatever language skill you are in the mood for. Let's see what reading has to offer. So we have choice of levels to read. Let's go for B2 level. Human body parts. Why not? We have the reading text with a lot of vocabulary in it. And what is interesting, we have after reading exercise to check your comprehension. There is one section that actually got my attention most of all. It's this one, dictation. A lot of people overlook the writing skills, focusing more on speaking and reading. However, it's very useful to know, to be able how to write words. So if you are in the mood for a little bit of school activity, let's try to do this exercise for dictation. Here is another wonderful website to practice all aspects of English. As everything else, it will be linked down below in the description box. There are a lot more resources to cater to both your learning and entertaining needs. I have covered this topic in much greater detail with a lot of useful examples in one of my previous videos. You can see the link in the screen and it will be placed down in the description box. Whatever you do to practice your English, whatever resources you use, you will inevitably face them. New words. To truly improve your English, expanding vocabulary is essential. It's not just about memorizing lists of words. To make your learning effective and lasting, you need to be mindful about how you expand your vocabulary. Here are some strategies that can help you. First of all, learn collocations rather than single words. The reasons are simple. You can't actually know all the words in English, but even those that you do know can play a bad joke on you. They may be used as a part of an idiom. They may be used in a different context as a different part of speech. Their meaning in a collocation may be metaphorical. For example, the word take means to carry or move something from one place to another. How about the following collocations? Let's take a little test and see if you can guess the meaning. Take a break means stop working and have rest. Take care means to be careful or look after somebody. Take part means to participate in an activity. Take place means to happen. Take a shot at something means to try doing something. In each collocation, the verb take has a different meaning or even cannot be understood separately from the whole phrase. Which brings me to the second important rule of learning vocabulary. If you want to understand words in the context, you need to understand words in the context. Look at this one. She walked down the street enjoying the sunshine, although she seemed a bit down after not getting the job she had applied for. Can you explain the meaning of the word down in each sentence? Please write your ideas in the comments. For both checking the meaning of the collocations and seeing them in the context, you can use this resource. Another approach which will help you expand your vocabulary is creating word families. When you learn a new word, also pay attention to its related forms, nouns, verbs, adjectives or adverbs. For example, for the word create, also learn creation, creative, and creativity. Yeah, that's all great, but how exactly can I learn vocabulary, you may ask? Well, good old flashcards still help me with Spanish. I like them bright. You can write a word on one side, for example, vestido, and its translation, meaning, or even sentence on the other side to see how it works in the context. Vestido means address. If you are more of a tech person, you can try using apps for learning vocabulary, such as Quizlet, Anki, Memrise, and many more. All approaches, techniques, and resources will be useless if you don't accept and follow the main rule of improving the language, immersing yourself in it. Here is how you can do it. Surround yourself with English. Constant exposure helps you get used to the rhythm, sound, and structure of the language. Here are a few simple ways how you can do it. Change the language settings on your device to English, of course. Use English in your daily tasks. And try to think in English. For instance, follow recipes in English, read instructions, or even think out loud when doing chores. I covered this more in one of my previous videos, which I will link in the description box. Earlier, I mentioned watching films and reading extensively in English to improve certain aspects of the language. However, there is another tool that might be underestimated, but will definitely help you enhance your pronunciation, listening skills, and understanding of natural patterns. It is short content on social media. Do you like cooking? Follow cooking blogs or YouTube channels. Interested in finances? There are plenty of YouTubers who cover this topic in an interesting and understandable way. Sport, painting, knitting, horse riding, that's kind of my thing. Whatever your interest is, there are people out there who speak about this in English. Is there any better way to learn English than incorporating it in what you already love doing? And finally, acknowledge that there will be challenges. Learning a foreign language is a great step out of your comfort zone. It's normal to feel frustrated and stuck sometimes. It is okay to make mistakes. Moreover, people who have learned or are learning at least one foreign language will never laugh at your mistakes or belittle your struggle. Remember that mistakes are the natural part of learning process and provide valuable feedback. I asked a friend of mine once what she, as a native speaker and an English teacher, thinks about people who make mistakes in English. Her answer changes the whole perspective on this situation. She said, "I think there is an amazing person in front of me who is learning my language to be able to communicate their thoughts. The only mistake there can be is the idea that I can ever mock them or laugh at them." Celebrate small victories along the way. Recognize your progress, no matter how minor it may seem to you. Stay flexible with your goals, as they may change together with your life circumstances. It's quite unreasonable to pursue the goal that has lost its relevance, isn't it? There are a few so-called power questions that can help you with that. Why is it important to do whatever you are planning to do? What will change if you achieve the goal? What do you need to focus on? How do you want to move towards the goal? What can stop you from whatever your goal is? In fact, why don't you try answering them right now? Right, that was a lot of information for you. I hope this video was useful and interesting. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being with me this time, and see you in the next video.